Thank you very much for this lovely opportunity to me. I was looking at the session which said it is transition from campus to corporate. For me, the journey is reversing back from corporate to campus. And it's a coincidence, but I'm loving this coincidence after 22 years stopping here from corporate and moving back to the campus for some new assignment. We heard in the previous session a very good example which talked about, you have to prepare, then aim, and then shoot. And then we heard that there's no time to aim and you have to prepare and shoot. And I was wondering what has missed in India that while we prepare and shoot, but we don't shoot at the aim that has been given, and that's why we are not getting medals or we are not getting our entries to various forums. So what is missing? Is it that the aim is completely gone out of the mind, or is it something else? So I was thinking about it, and then I was reflecting on my corporate experiences. And one important thing that came to my mind was, I think somewhere when it comes to preparation, there is something that is lagging. And that is where our people are not able to aim and then shoot perfectly. So looking at that and then correlating it with the data, if we look at the data, all of us know every year we have almost 1.5 million engineers passing out of the colleges, but almost the data every time tells us not more than 80-85% of these pass outs are actually employable. So then what is the issue between employment is there or it's not there, and then employability? Are we making a differentiation between the employment and employability? So what is missing? If students are passing out with degree graduates, degree certificates in their hand, what is it that's not making them employable for the organizations? Then I started looking at some examples. Very recent past, I was reading some people. One of the names that came to my reading was Julius Yego, who recently has qualified in the Olympics on some Commonwealth Games, and he was the winner. And when he was interviewed, I was reading CNN report, and he said that he didn't have a coach. So they asked him, "Who's your coach who prepared you for this? You have won all these medals." So he said he didn't have a coach. So when they probed him more, so he said, he came from a poor family in Nigeria, and he did some qualification work at the college level, but later he didn't have money to go for regular coaching. So then he decided how to go for more coaching. So he turned towards YouTube, and through YouTube, he has been surfing and finding what coaches do and how do they make people to practice. And he started following that regime by accessing YouTube. He used to spend many hours in surfing the internet, and through that internet, then he reached out to some people around the world, and through virtual networks, he started developing a methodology of coaching. And that's when he introduced himself to a virtual coach where he had to pay absolutely nothing. And it was giving me another thought that, it's not new to India. And when I go to the, civilizational stories, I hear the similar stories when we hear about the Eklavya. And, when Eklavya was not taken as a disciple by Guru Drona, so he had created a replica of Guru Drona, and he used to get all that inspiration of learning from it. So somewhere the preparation was continuously coming in my mind that something is lagging. We may not want to have aim as a separate subject taken separately, but somewhere when the preparation is done in the rightful manner, I think that aiming itself becomes one of the key ingredient of preparation. So somewhere we have not been able to focus on the issue of preparation, and that's why most of our youngsters, whether it's in the area of getting jobs, right jobs, or it's in the area of getting medals, or it's in the area of getting some distinctions, we are not able to get that. I think the entire piece of preparation, my thought is about the skill that is required to prepare. One is how should one prepare for this? And looking at the entire skill value chain, I think most important thing is we are not preparing our children at very young stages of their growth and development. If we compare our country with other countries which have shown some great and remarkable outcomes, for example, Germany, they prepare their children right from the primary stage of their education. So I think somewhere in the country, the model of preparing and catching them young in the value chain of skills is missing. So that's one area where the institutional focus is required. So looking at that part, I think three things are very critical for us. One is at the government level. At the government level, how they create certain systems, procedures, policies, or programs that helps our children right from the nascent stages to enter into that skill format and then make a choice as they proceed in the process of acquiring more learning and education and skilling so that they become perfect as they move on the roadmap. The second aspect is industry's role. I think the models that industry today require and how those models can be implemented, the industry also has to play a very critical role. They have to support the government where government brings in certain policies around it. And the third part is at the learner level, the initiatives that learners also need to take at their own level. So at these three levels, there are certain thoughts required by the organizations, by the institutions, and by the students. One important ingredient from a corporate level I've seen when most of the students come to the industry for their summer internships, I have seen they sometimes are not fully prepared, fully equipped that what is that they are supposed to draw out of that summer internship programs. So there needs to be some kind of seriousness, some kind of methodology that has to be weaved right at the college level when they are being prepared and sent to the summer internship program. So that process of acquiring that knowledge from the institutions, that has to be strengthened. The corporates have to think of that when these students come to them, how corporates have to structure and put it into the right framework so that they are able to let the information, knowledge and skill pass on to the students for their upgradation. Another important piece is faculty development. I think most of the focus is on developing faculty internally, but I haven't seen many institutions sending their faculty on sabbaticals to corporates and letting these faculty learn what's happening in the corporate and bring that back to the institution and incorporate among the students. Some institutions can actually also focus on catching their alumni around the world and figuring out how these alumni can be used as mentors for the new and budding students in their campuses. And the last important piece is how do we prepare our youngsters in the colleges, in the schools, in the campuses for the softer elements, softer issues, which most of these youngsters I have seen they are not able to cope up with. Most of the graduates, when we hire them, they think in their first 2-3 years of experience at the corporate, they should become general managers or they should become vice presidents in the organization. So somewhere that intelligence, that social, emotional intelligence is somewhere missing. So there must be a focus on building that part as well, so that they are made conversant with the realities of the world, how people have actually become successful in the corporate world. Thank you.